Welcome to the Tough Decisions Network for Entrepreneurs. I'm Dennae Handford, and my wife, Dennae, and I interview successful people sharing stories behind tough decisions that they've had to make along their journey as an entrepreneur. Before we get started, let's hear from one of our sponsors. Have you ever thought about investing in real estate, but find yourself so busy that you don't have time for it? Do you have FOMO, which is the fear of missing out? At HandfordCapital.com, we help investors with passive real estate investments that project better returns than traditional investment vehicles such as the stock market. If you'd like to find out more about our passive real estate investments, visit HandfordCapital.com. That's HANDFORD Capital.com. We will jump on a call with you to discuss your investment goals and to see if our investments are a good fit for you. This advertisement is not to be construed as an offer or recommendation to buy or sell a security. Visit HandfordCapital.com. Welcome to our Friday edition of the Tough Decisions for Entrepreneurs podcast. I am one of your hosts, Dan, and we have Dennae here as well. Thank you for joining us. Today, we are going to be talking about a group that I started a couple of months ago, back in 2018, called the Multifamily Investor Nation. And so we're going to talk a little bit about, how that came to fruition and how it was created and why it was created, and then also talk to you about the upcoming summit that we have coming up in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, so the Multifamily Investor Nation group is something that you started in September of last year, 2018. And I guess it would be best to say that it was sort of the result of several months of doing some meetups in different places around the area and trying to figure out exactly the best way to reach people where they are, give them the information that they need to get started in the multifamily space. Is that right?
Yeah, so I've probably said this many times before, but one of the places that I get a lot of my ideas, my creative juices are flowing, is in the hot tub.
Oh, boy.
In the hot tub. So I was sitting in the hot tub about September of last year. I don't know what I was researching, but I usually have my phone and I'm researching, stuff or listening to podcasts or whatever, and just kind of relaxing. And I was researching something and it just hit me. I was like, I said, I wonder if this domain is available. So I went to GoDaddy and typed in multifamilyinvestornation.com and it was available. And then I also registered apartmentinvestornation.com just to make sure I secured that in case somebody else wanted to, steal it and kind of go with a different spin on it. And so I decided to register those two domains. And what I thought about it in the hot tub was leveraging the meetup.com platform to market for multifamily investors around the country. Actually, at first, I wanted to just do virtual events in these different markets. And then I found out after doing some research that Meetup does not work that way. So they will shut you down if all you're doing is virtual meetups. And so you actually have to have live in-person contact with the people who are in that local community in order to use and leverage Meetup. And so I decided to pivot a little bit and decided to have co-organizers that are in each one of the local markets that I wanted to have one of these groups. And so now, fast forward January 2019 from September 2018, we now have over 2,500 members of that group. We have 36 or 37, maybe even more by the time this recording is released. We have that many chapters or groups or co-organizers across the country in just about every major market. And we're continuing to grow and continuing to expand. And I now have co-organizers that put on these events for me. I don't pay them. They don't pay me. I obviously take the brunt of the expense of the Meetup platform, but I'm also being able to build my audience and build my list and create that authority platform, which is what I wanted to do.
Yeah, so you have to travel then to every location that you have a meetup, right?
Yes, and that's why I wanted co-organizers so that I didn't have to travel to 34 different cities every single month, because doing these things on a monthly basis is at least the minimum frequency. I have some of our co-organizers that want to do every other week, or I have some that actually do weekly, but the majority of them, I'd probably say 80-85% of them are doing a monthly meetup where they are getting together, and these are informal networking opportunities. So one of the reasons why a lot of people don't create or don't do meetups is because they do take a lot of time when you're trying to find a venue and find a speaker and get a presentation and get a banner and do all these different coordinating and facilitating. And so with the Multifamily Investor Nation, these groups are set up as informal networking opportunities. And we usually choose like Panera Bread because they have a large dining room and you don't have to worry about, calling ahead of time. They have plenty of space. And, you basically just put it on the meetup platform that you're going to be at this Panera Bread at 7:00 in the morning or 8:00 or, at lunch or dinner or whatever. And you can get together with other people of like mind and network all around multifamily and talk about some of the weekly webinars that we're doing and kind of facilitating that additional conversation. And then finding people that maybe want to passively invest in your own deals or want to partner with you and help you. Maybe you don't like doing underwriting. You rather do investor relations like I do, and you need to find somebody that can help you and support you in that way. You're not going to find that sitting behind your computer. You got to get out, you got to go, and you got to network with other people at events, at meetups, and various things like that. And so these informal networking opportunities is really what's allowed us to be able to expand as fast as we have.
So I know that you have given a ton of value in the last several months via the Multifamily Investor Nation Facebook.
You're not biased at all, right?
No, not at all. Seriously. I mean, I haven't watched all the live Facebook and the webinars and everything, but I've seen who's been on there and I know we've talked about it. So there's tons and tons of value. Why do you do that?
Well, there's a couple of reasons. So obviously with the Multifamily Investor Nation, I'm trying to create an authority platform to put me into an authority or an elevated position to build that credibility and build that trust with multifamily investors so that they understand that when they start to invest with me or whatever, that, I do have a little bit of credence behind me as well, especially with, leveraging other experts in the field that are now joining Multifamily Investor Nation and coming on and sharing on a webinar and sharing with our group. And it just helps me to be able to share that stage with them and just builds my credibility as well. But there's two reasons that I really wanted to create this Multifamily Investor Nation group for. So obviously we're investing in multifamily, and so we needed to find investors. So even though we're investing alongside each one of our deals as investors first, we also can't just write a check for $2.5 million or $5 million.
Oh, come on.
So we invest our money alongside each one of these investors, and we might have 30, 40, 50 investors in a deal that bring in, minimum investment is $50,000 upwards to, several million, depending on the size of the deal. But the minimum investment is usually $50,000, and the average investment that most investors are putting in is anywhere between about 150 to 250. Obviously, we have some investors that go quite a bit more than that on some of the larger deals that we're putting together. But we're looking for passive investors. So people who, have some passive, or not some passive, but have some, extra cash, whether they've put it in the stock market or a mutual fund, or they have money in a 401k that's just not growing as fast as they want it to, or an IRA. And we could teach them and put them in contact with people that could put those into self-directed accounts so they can start to, expand that. And, if you look at your IRA or your 401k and it hasn't, doubled in the last 5 years, then you probably need to look at these multifamily investments, because most of these deals, there's going to be about a double of your account in about a 5-year period of time, 5 to 7 years. So obviously each deal is a little bit different. So I'm not giving you any specifics on a deal right now, but on average, that's kind of what we're seeing is that if you have, $500,000 in an IRA right now and you put some money into it, some of our investments, say you put $500,000 in a 5-year period of time, they're going to be closer to $1 million or more into that account. So if you look at the last 5 years and your track record and your history of what you have your current IRA in, I can almost guarantee you it hasn't doubled in the last 5 years.
For sure.
Those are put into some small, mutual funds or something like that doesn't really grow that fast.
Right. So you started this in September. And then I remember we interviewed someone back at the end of the summer, I think, about he has a virtual event that he does twice a year. And so you sort of merge those two because there is currently no one in the multifamily space doing a virtual event.
Yeah.
Which is just unbelievable because there's all kinds of in-person events that you can pay thousands of dollars to go to, which I'm not belittling that because those are valuable.
I've been to all of them.
Lots of great, I know you have, lots of great networking opportunities, but you have a different idea and I think it's going to work really well.
Well, I think it already has. I mean, one of the things that I just wanted to go back and touch on is I mentioned that there were two reasons why I started the group, and one of them was to find passive investors for our deals, but the other reason is that whenever you're looking at multifamily investments and there's other people that are active in the space, a lot of times what's holding them back and limiting them is the ability to find somebody that can be a loan guarantor for their deals and that key principle. And because of our net worth and liquidity from our our business background, we're able to sign on the loan, and these are non-recourse loans that we're able to sign on and to be able to help other groups. And so that's another piece of it is trying to find other sponsors that are credible in the space that we can now join their team and be a loan guarantor and possibly help them raise money, but just depends on the deal. So that's another reason why as well. So Scott Carson does virtual events for the last several years on note buying. So it's a different type of business when it comes to investing, but he has a company called We Close Notes, and he has been doing virtual events at least probably 4 or 5 times a year. He has 2 events. I think it's just 4 times. So he has 2 events that he does twice a year. So it's 4 events a year, and they're all virtual. And he has a story. If you go to our website, toughdecisions.net, just search his name, Scott Carson, you will hear his story as to why he decided to go into these virtual events. And the main reason was he was tired of paying $180 a gallon for coffee.
Right. He was a great interview also, as a side note. He has great energy, great ideas, a lot of fun to talk to. But yeah, you're right. I mean,
my favorite this entire time so far.
Well, because you got a great idea from that. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. I mean, you go to these events, and if you've ever tried to plan one of these events, which we have, I mean, it's just insane, some of the expense that's involved in planning and also going. I mean, to some people right now, or if they're new in the space or they're trying, that may be an unattainable thing. And so I think this virtual event is a great alternative where you're going to provide tons of value and still get the same networking opportunities. I think that's important that people understand. You're not missing out on the networking because of the way we are able to set it up now.
Yeah, we're leveraging the meetup platform that we used to start the Multifamily Investor Nation, and we're now doing pre-event meetups all around the event, all around the country to all of our groups. And we're also putting together, and some of our co-organizers are doing watch parties during the event. So you have that opportunity for networking where you have all of the attendees on a closed Facebook group that can continue to network before the event and then after the event. And then all of the sessions are going to be recorded. So when was the last time you went to an event and they gave you the sessions that were recorded? So we're recording every single one of the sessions. All of the attendees will be able to have access to those recordings for at least 6 to 12 months after the event to go back, rewatch them. If it was a session that they missed. I have some people that are, still working a job right now, so they can't be there in the whole entire day because it's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So they are going to go back and watch them, in the evenings over the next couple of weeks or whatever, and they have that access to those recordings to be able to watch those topics.
Yeah, and if you really, really, really want to take that trip that's involved in, going to a weekend seminar, you have that option too.
Yes. So we actually are going to be doing, for some people that want to take that time away, fly to our city, Columbia, South Carolina, they can come here, be part of our 3-day watch party that we're putting on, and come to our house in the evening for dinner, which I don't know if I told you that or not, but they are.
Oh, really? Okay.
So we're going to have them come over. We're going to have people who come down to our watch party here in Columbia, South Carolina, have them over for dinner one night at our house. And then also
the good thing to know about Columbia in January is it's not hot. It's might be the only month out of the year where it's not hot, but it won't be hot.
And then we're also going to take that group to our property in Greenville, South Carolina, which is a 130-unit property, and give them a property tour on what we're doing. And we will be in the middle of renovating some of the units that are going to be repositioning from a C-class property to a B-class property. And so you'll be able to see some of those renovations real live in person and kind of get the walkthrough with Brandon, who is our boots on the ground construction lead and acquisitions lead on our team. So it'll be a great time, great opportunity for networking with other people. And it's just going to be an amazing event all around. It's going to be a lot of work for us, but we are really looking forward to this event. It's going to be the largest event in 2019.
And so that's 2 weeks from now, correct?
That's correct. Yeah. So it's going to be the January 17th, 18th, and 19th. It's a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And so if you want to register for that, you can go to mfinsummit.com, MF for multifamily, and then IN Investor Nation, mfinsummit.com. You can go there, find out, and kind of see all the speakers that are there. You can also go to our YouTube channel. You can go to just multifamilyinvestornation.com and click on the link for the YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, but you can also see some of the speakers that we have done some pre-interview or pre-teasing, if you will, to kind of get to know some of the speakers beforehand. So I can't remember the last time that's ever happened at an event where you actually get to know some of the speakers before you even get to hear them talk.
Right. And so you know what you're paying for and you know what kind of value you're going to get.
Right. And they're all short. They're like usually between about 5 to 10 minutes. But I wanted to introduce these speakers to some of the audience because a lot of people don't really know who these people are. So now they can actually get there and actually know who these people are.
So we're looking forward to that 2 weeks from now. If you haven't gotten a ticket, then go do that. And we hope to see everybody, as many people as possible, right, for 2 weeks from now for that Multifamily Investor Nation virtual summit. I know that's something that we've had people, where is this again? Where is this? Well, if you want to come to Columbia, you can come to Columbia, but you don't have to. That's the cool thing. It's a virtual summit. So you can do everything, including the networking, from your computer.
Yes. And they're going to be, because of the platform that we're using, at each one of the sessions, if you have questions, you will be able to ask those questions because we will have opportunity at every session to ask the presenter and ask the speaker any questions. And we're also doing panel topics. So at those panel sessions, you might have questions and you can submit those questions. We can ask the speakers live because none of this is pre-recorded. It's all live. We have people that are having to run the technology in the back end every single day and making sure that the speakers are coming on and going off and various things like that. So make sure you come to it. It'll be a great time for you to be able to learn about multifamily and what we're doing. And then if you want to come to Columbia, South Carolina, obviously you can do that as well. We'd love to be able to meet you all.
All right. So that wraps up our episode for today. Dan will be on with you tomorrow. And of course, I will be on with you on Sunday like normal. And then next week, we have a full week of interviews. So stay tuned and be sure and download those episodes and keep up with us.
Thank you for listening to the Tough Decisions Network. Be sure to visit toughdecisions.net to gain access to show notes for this episode and to join our free weekly entrepreneur email where we will send you news about the latest technology for your business, inspiring quotes, and the latest books for entrepreneurs. That's toughdecisions.net.